2. We are live. It didn't last very long last time. It crashed within seconds. Sorry if you were watching the last stream. But we are back again. Sorry, let me just pass code. Okay, back once again for the Championship predictions and preview. Just knocked it up, like I said, on the last attempted stream. Sorry for not advertising this beforehand. Oliver Goddard, Yellows. Yes, we'll come on to Norwich, no doubt. Very, very soon. Some very, very close matchups this time. Ruby Butcher, hey, Harry. Look, 6th versus 5th, 8th versus 9th, 12th versus 11th, 15th versus 16th, 22nd versus 21st. Morning to Stephen. Full of food is how I am after yesterday. Also worth noting, 5 out of the top 6 in the Championship, they're going to play 2 home games in a row. So we're expecting those top 6 to all pick up a lot of points. Morning, Ben. Paul Lambert is a blue. Yes, I hope he's a winner today as well. Leeds versus Blackburn. Leeds at the top. They are our leaders. They're on one of these streaks. We saw Cardiff do this last season. Possible like season defining streak, this one. 6 wins on the trot. If that goes up to 8 wins, 10 wins on the trot, you just never know where that could go. Astounding win at Villa from Leeds from 2-0 down. The only glimmer for Blackburn, morning to Lewis, up the blades indeed. Difficult one for Sheffield United. We'll come up with them in a minute. The only glimmer of hope if you are Blackburn is that Bielsa continually has to play 2, 3, 4 academy guys in all these teams, but they keep winning, and God knows what happens when Berardi, Bamford, Cooper, Brown all are ready and waiting. Blackburn lost out to Norwich last time, only their 2nd defeat in like 10 months or something. Dropped into the bottom half now, 1 win in 6 for the Rovers. Tricky one indeed. On the evidence of what I saw at Villa on Sunday, this looks like a bit of a no-brainer, does it? We've got to go home win, Leeds to beat Blackburn. Oh wow, I've got a wind-up biscuit tin which is deciding to now play in the background. Isn't that joyous? Hey, Glenn, Derby for us today. Blades, Leeds going up, Ben, says Joe. Possibly agree with you on that one. Let's move on. Norwich, are they going up? 2nd against Forest in 7th. Norwich 11 undefeated. Their ridiculous run continued at Blackburn. Still no signs of them falling away. We've looked for ages. Are they less investment, less squad than all the others? When are they going to fall away? Not happening at all. They're 5 points above West Brom, but West Brom looking pretty savage at the moment. They won 4-0 last week. Chasing along, but 5 points is a big jump there. Oliver, mid-season table prediction for a vid. Yep, that sounds good. Stick that in the comments, Oliver, when this one's up. I will do that. Norwich possibly without Buendia and Leitner. Now that could be key today because Forest can be very stodgy at the back, not necessarily coming forward too much in away games. 2 sat in front, Colback, Jakub, Guediora. Hi Josh. Yeah, we're going to come on to Stoke in a little bit. And still we don't know whether Hanley or Close is going to be there for Norwich. Forest though started in the last 2 games, lost at home to Preston, lost at home to QPR surprisingly, but their bastardry level was high away at Derby. I was at that game and they didn't really look like losing that one. They got a nil draw, so you would think that would be their possible way through. Norwich keep it really tight, and you've got Graben there, snatch something. Graben obviously ex-Norwich player there. However, 3 games without a goal for Forest, so Graben not scoring, Forest not scoring. If the rest of the season is anything to go by, then it'll be 0-0 going into the 99th minute, and Norwich and Pookie will score in the 99th minute. So look, I'm going to go for a home win for Norwich. Stephen playing Sheffield Wednesday today. Up the Borough, yes. 2 games time, Stephen. We'll come on to that one. Norwich to win at home to Forest, I think. West Brom at home to Wigan. Look, this one should be fairly easy. West Brom in lovely form at the moment. And only these great streaks by the top two. Pantilimon own goal. Yes, I think Forest are possibly looking at getting Darlow back, aren't they? So maybe they're not with the keeper position either, Oliver. Only the two streaks at the top, Norwich and Leeds, keeping West Brom out of it. 17 points from the last 7. 50 goals up for West Brom. Restructured the team now and seemed to manage to figure out how to get Barnes, Gale and Rodriguez all in there and be a little bit tighter with this kind of 4-3-3 as opposed to the 3-5-2 they were playing earlier in the season. Ben Moore, Massimo will score against us and Darryl Murphy will score against us. Talking about Luongo, we'll come on to QPR Ipswich in a bit there. But Wigan not in good form at all. Injuries, saw them play against Ipswich. It was pretty interesting conditions, but they were not great and they're not on a good run. Took a bit of a pasting last time out. 3-0 home to Birmingham. 3 defeats on the bounce. Only 2 wins in 14 since they were, I think they were top 6. I've got down here top 8, but I think they were even higher than that. Let's go for a no-brainer here. Home win. Matt Lumsden, who do you think will be bottom 3 end of the season? Let's come on to that because there's some interesting games down the bottom there, Matt. But back in West Brom to win at home to Wigan. Borough, who I think Stephen was just mentioning, Borough at home to Wednesday. Borough back to winning ways against Reading, back up to 4th. This is the thing, they've had the bad run now. If that is the end of the bad run, I think it was 2 points in 4 games. If that's the end of the bad run, they'll probably take that. But the pace that Norwich and Leeds are setting at the moment, that might be enough to keep them out. And I keep saying about Borough, I worry about them in a playoff game. They've got enough goal threat to actually even get through in one of those really stodgy playoff games. Hey, maybe Pulis is the guy for that. We'll see. Got the clean sheet though against Reading, which was the first one in a few games for them, and that was the whole identity. Oh, sorry, I just missed that comment. They come up so quick on here. Wednesday, they seem very set on hiring Steve Bruce, although the report I read said he'd be coming, after January, so it'll be Lee Bullen again doing the final 2 games of 2018. Great win over Preston, but Pearson was sent off on 26 minutes and they battled out a 1-0. They'll take it, but that doesn't give me much hope that they're going to go away to Borough and do anything particularly today. I think some Pulis ball on this one. 1-0 maybe, 2-0. Let's go Borough for the home win. Today, God, Sheffield United versus Derby. I don't want to touch this one with a barge pole. Borough transfer target, Stephen says, Huddersfield's Van La Parra. That'd be a good sign, and that'd be a Pulis type one as well. Yeah, Sheffield United v Derby. That sounds like a horrible one to predict. If you want to tell me, put up in the comments what you think is going to happen here. 6th versus 5th. Blades a little bit slippy on the form. 2 wins in 8. And the 2 wins have come against Reading and Brentford. And we said of Sheffield United, they punished the bottom teams. Well, they didn't beat Ipswich and lose to the top teams, including they lost to Derby earlier this season at Pride Park. Derby have drawn 2, lost a little bit of ground up the top. There were lots of wins going in for the other teams. Only 2 defeats in 13 for them. Both teams on their day very capable. I'm going to go on history though. Derby have had some good results in top 6 games this season. Blades haven't. Sorry, I know I've got a lot of Sheffield United followers on here, but let's go for a bold. Maybe Derby might snatch this one today. This game will say a lot about the 2 teams as well, because if you're either of these teams, you don't want to be losing this one. John says Derby to sneak a win against Sheffield United, poor against top sides. He is possibly agreeing with me there. I think Matt asked, will Ipswich finish in the bottom 3? Ask me at the end of January, see who we've signed there. I'm going to away win for Derby. I'm going to go ballsy there. Glenn says, need our top players on it today. Sharp and McGoldrick. Oliver says, going to be a lot of goals. There's going to be a lot of close games today if you've seen the fixtures. Here's another one, 8th versus 9th. I can't believe how these have all come out with teams right next door to each other in the table, all playing against each other. They're both outsiders for the playoffs. Birmingham 8th, Stoke 9th, 4 points off. You'd say Stoke, given they have money and Birmingham don't, would be you know, slightly up in that trajectory. Birmingham, a couple of defeats in the last 6, still picked up 10 points, and they got that brilliant front two, Adams and Jutkovic, and they really play to their strengths. Nicely direct without being too hoofy. Defeat though against Bristol City last time was the first home defeat there for Birmingham. Keep right on, says Matthew, presumably Birmingham fan there. Stoke are 10 games unbeaten. Over the last 6 though, they've finally turned the draw into victories. Billy, how do you think QPR can do with the transfer embargo in January? Come on to that in a second, that's the next game. 2 points per game for Stoke over the last 6. A lot of teams though, a lot of traffic going into that top 6. Ben Maddox, do you think Leeds will win the league? Highly possible, Ben, highly possible. Should I sit on the fence with this one? If I sit on the fence, I say very, very tight one, and this one's a draw. You could possibly see Stoke edge this one. Have they got enough goal threat though? Blues draw with Stoke, typical route factor will bite us in the arse if Cham will win against us. That's John. I just think Birmingham can score at any point. Even if they get a free kick inside the D, it can go up into the box, and the big guys, Dean and Morrison forward with you. So I think it will be a draw, which means I've gone against what I've written down here, which I'm not going to tell you what I've written down here. Let's go for a draw then. Birmingham. Another rumour for Borough, 6'3" Serbian striker. How Pulis would that be? QPR versus Ipswich. QPR, someone just asked me about a transfer embargo. I'll have to do some reading up on that. QPR look pretty solid though for numbers, but just in terms of depth, although I think for QPR, if they finish in the middle of the table and sort some stuff out there and McLaren can go again next season, I think they'll be very happy with that. So QPR versus Ipswich today. I'll be at this game in a few hours. Very much looking forward to that, even though Ipswich always lose away at QPR. Really strong since those opening weeks, QPR. 4 wins out of the last 5 at home, and last 2 games they've beaten Borough and Forest, so definitely a threat there. Wells 4 goals in the last 7. I just read a stat on who scored. Ipswich have conceded 2 goals at least in their last 10 away games. How bad is that? So Ipswich need, not even clean sheets, just need to get back to 0s and 1s, Ipswich there. A shining light though, 4 points in the last 2 games for Ipswich. Although a draw would be really, really lovely. They need 3 pointers. Look, if you said to me Ipswich lose today, but they beat Millwall and they beat Rotherham in the home games in January, I'll take that. Ipswich haven't done well against QPR in recent years. Really struggled against Freeman's set plays in the first one. I've got to go for a QPR home win. It looks like Ipswich always concede 2 goals in away games, so Billy's just asked for a score. But let's go 2-1 QPR, which will mean a miserable afternoon for me. There we go. Glenn says Ipswich must be full of confidence. Yes, they must be, but Ipswich is a fragile team if they do concede, say, a first half goal. We'll see what happens to that confidence. And remember, no skews as well, who would be very helpful today. Swansea versus Villa. So despite all the hoopla about Villa, they're down in 11th, only 1 win in the last 5. But listen to this run of games, not in a row, but since Smith arrived, Villa have played Norwich, Derby, Forest, Borough, West Brom, Stoke and Leeds. So I think they've done pretty well to still be in there given all those games. I think they need some reinforcements in the back 4, judging by the Leeds defeat. No, Grealish doesn't help, but the goals are flying in. 23 goals in the past 8 games, so that part of the team is working. Abraham, 9 goals in his last 7 games. Swansea, very inconsistent. 7 defeats, 5 wins in the last 12. No clean sheet in the last 6, and Villa are scoring all over the place, so hold that for. Bonnie got his first goal since he's been back at Hull. They still lost 3-2 though. I can see something similar happening in this game. Let's go for a high scoring away win. A couple of questions just came in, some Ipswich questions. Someone said 0-0 would be their best hope. They're not keeping clean sheets away from home, so I don't know whether that'll happen. Matt Lumsden says, what do they need to do to beat QPR? Well, if you're at the Ipswich away game at Reading, they need to do that, where it's just bam, intense, rock and roll, and start really out there, but we shall see if that happens. So yeah, I'm back in Villa to get the away win at Swansea. On we go. Bristol City versus Brentford. Bristol City doing their streaky thing. They're 5 unbeaten after 4 straight defeats. Back-to-back home games coming up, Brentford and Rotherham, so they will hope to be in the top half in a few days' time. Long way back from the playoff spots though. Jeju in nice form, 3 goals in the last 5 for him. Brentford finally had a win. What they need to prove though is they didn't just, because they beat Bolton, they didn't just come up against a team who was just frankly worse than they are at the moment. Given that's broken the run, I just had a look at their away form. They're one of 3 teams with 0 away wins all season, Brentford. And also, you've got to look for Brentford. Billy, I'll come to that question in a minute. You've got to look at Brentford and say transfer windows. My visitor is here. Apparently, my visitor is here. I'll keep going another 5 or 6 minutes and get this done. They've not usually come to the transfer window in a position of weakness, always in a position of strength. So very, very interesting to see how that pans out in the transfer window. I've got to back Bristol City for this one. We'll go Bristol City for a home win. Someone just asked in the feed who's going to be involved in the relegation fight. Well, Hull have zipped out of it. I think Wigan might come down into it. Their back window might come down into it. It looks like 5 teams maximum, possibly only 4, which isn't good if you're looking from an Ipswich point of view. Right, moving on. Preston V-Hull, another horrible one to call. 15th versus 16th here. Preston and Hull have been the 2 sides who have blasted out of the relegation zone, managed to play their way out of it. So they're the inspiration for all the teams down at the bottom. Preston lost at Wednesday last time, but they did do 10 men from the 26th minute, Preston, so bit of a mitigating factor there. Ben Pearson now misses 4 games because he's a naughty boy. Callum Robinson is out for a long while. Alan Brown in good form from Preston. Glenn says Hull have really picked up recently. Hull have, not only have they picked up, they're in literally promotion form. 18 points from 9 games. Bowen and Campbell, big threats up top. 8 goals each for Bowen and Campbell. 4 and 4 for Bowen. 6 and 8 for Campbell. Sit on the fence for this one. Let's go for a scoring draw. I think Hull have got enough to take the game to Preston, but Preston are solid enough to lose. KSI says automatic fight. Will it be West Brom, Norwich and Leeds? Norwich and Leeds pull away. I think KSI. I think West Brom are gonna keep in there. I hate to say it, Norwich have got to have a drop off at some point. If they don't have a drop off, then they deserve everything they get because they'll have, they'll probably have 97 points or something. But West Brom, strong. January's going to be very interesting for that run at the top because I think you can see someone like Derby, someone like West Brom and Borough all being able to spend more money than Norwich. I think if I were Leeds as well, I'd give Bielsa exactly what he asked for because he seems to be doing an amazing job there. Don't know if there's money to spend at Norwich, possibly. Wouldn't have thought there's a massive amount. Right, 2 more to go. I said draw for Preston Hull. Let's talk Bolton, Rotherham. These games are impossible to call this weekend. Bolton 1 win in 19, Rotherham 1 win in 16. So I could just say 0-0 right now, but both teams are going to be eyeing this one up. You can find some positives for Rotherham, which you can't for Bolton. Rotherham seem somewhere near the peak of their level, and for all that, they are not losing at least. And they have lost 4 games fewer than Bolton, but that only transmits to 4 points in the table. Bolton, if they do win, can really suck Rotherham in. In fact, looking at this next week, it could be a really bad day for Ipswich because some of these teams at the bottom are going to pick up points today, which isn't going to happen in many other weeks. I desperately need this one to be a draw, but I think there could be something decisive today. SUFC game. Yes, I'll be at Ipswich QPR today. Flip of a coin, this one. Let's go controversial. Let's go for a home win. And let's go for Bolton to break their streak and pull Rotherham into it. Don't know, just can't call these ones, so I'm literally pulling the predictions out of the air today. Home win, Bolton to beat Rotherham. Right, last one, and again, 2 teams next to each other in the table. 22nd versus 21st, Millwall versus Reading. Bottom of the table clash. Neither of these teams done anything recently either. Millwall no wins in 8, Reading no wins in 7. Millwall you'd always back at home. Reading have got good forward players. They've got a new manager. I can see Reading scoring, but I can't see Millwall losing. Let's sit on the fence for that one and go for a draw. We did it. Thank you for all the comments and questions. I'll go for another couple of minutes. Ben, are Brentford going to lose their players in January? They might lose a couple to Aston Villa, I would have thought. Hello to Anawig Gamer YouTube. What's going to be really interesting is today at the bottom, if you're an Ipswich fan, your doomsday scenario could happen today. You could lose at QPR and there could be a decisive result in the Bolton-Rotherham game and the Millwall versus Reading game, and that gap could open right up. So hopefully a lot of draws down the bottom there today. Up the top as well, all those home games coming in. Who do you reckon will leave Borough in January? That's a tricky one. I have to have a think about that one, Stephen. I don't see, there's no Traore there or Gibson there who you were like, oh look, they're obviously going to go, but we shall see. Anyway, look, my guest is here. I'm going to disappear. We're going to be at QPR Ipswich this afternoon. Sheffield United 1, Derby 2. I was on similar lines there, JLH 10. So we'll try and get the review up of QPR Ipswich, I don't know, by 6 o'clock, 5:45 tonight by Glenn. I'll do the full championship review. I'll go live and I'll do that tomorrow morning. Bye, Stephen. Good luck, Borough. So, I don't know, similar time tomorrow morning we'll do the review of all the games, full run of games today. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. I'm trying to do Ipswich 4, QPR 0. What are you drinking, Nick? There we go. Sean, great job, and thanks, Sean. We'll try and go live again tomorrow morning. So if I say 10 o'clock, I'll post something on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom, and we'll try and do this again tomorrow morning. Really appreciate all the comments. Great chat. Thanks, MH. It's quite tricky doing it live, so if you've got any suggestions, bung them as a permanent comment when this video actually is on YouTube, because it's just streaming at the moment. But I really enjoy doing all of this live. See you Thursday on YouTube. Thank you, Nick. Thanks, Matt. I'm going to hang up the stream now. As I said, match review, Ipswich QPR later, review up tomorrow morning, and then probably another preview the next day, because another round again. So we'll try and keep the live thing going, but if you've got any suggestions how to make it better, let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and see you later on for the match review.